Hello, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Documint's Live Build Lab. We meet here weekly to cover topics that will help you integrate your database with Document and also generate beautiful and professional documents. The weekly topic takes around 10 to 15 minutes of the session, and after the presentation, we'll have an open space where you can bring your questions and template-related questions, designs, anything you need, and we'll help you. Feel free to bring any questions. We'll be happy to help you. So let's start. The theme of the week is building smart documents with conditional rules. So today we'll take a look at the templates and see how we can conditionally display or hide some elements to make your document look just as you need. And so you don't need to build different templates depending on a condition on what you need to display. So first, let's take a look at the template we have for today. I have here an invoice. I will work with this template today, and we'll learn how to display or hide some elements depending on some conditions. So in this case right here, I have some line items. They can be in US dollars or they can be in euros. So we will learn how to display it depending on what you need to display. So just so we can understand a bit more, let's go through the base I have here. So as you can see, some customers, they can come from different countries, and we can issue invoices depending on their currency, and we have different currencies going on our base integrated with Document. So let's check this out. So in the template, you can set up rules in different levels of the template. So for instance, if you want to display US dollars, if the customer is from the US, you can access the token properties right here or just double click it, and we'll see that it's a currency, and we can add a rule right here in the footer. So pretty simple, add a rule. In here, we'll select a field from that base, which is customer country, and we only want to display this item if the price is in US dollars. So if the customer country is US, so contains US. So let's save it. And we also only want this one to display if the country of the customer is in the European Union. So let's use contains Europe or EU, and let's save. So just so we can have a look at how it's looking so far, we'll see that we only added the rule for the price. So let's do the same for total, subtotal, and total of the invoice. So similar rule, customer country contains US, save, customer country contains EU, save, Okay, so now we have set up display rules for a token level. Let's take a look at how it's going so far. And this is how it looks. So we also can set up rules on columns. So let's just take a look quickly at the content structure. So essentially we have a row that holds columns that hold text elements, and which holds token elements. So in this case, for some items, I have some notes, and for other items, I might not have notes. So let's say I don't want to display the notes column if I have items that don't have any notes to display. So we just need to go to the notes column. We can access its column from the contents pane or from the toolbar right here. And we can also access the logic from here. Let's add a display rule. So I only want, since the notes are in the line item, so let's take a look at this structure real quick. So the notes are coming from line items. We'll need to access this linked record first and then address the field, which is notes. So let's look for the line items. Okay. And let's count different from 0. What this is telling Documint is to look at the list of the notes and let them know that if there's any notes that are not empty, then we want to display that. So let's save it. And let's do the same for the column in the line items. So since this is already looped over line items, we just need to select the notes field and tell Documint to display this column if the notes are not empty. So let's take a quick look. And there you go. So you can have invoices with notes or without them. Okay, let's move on. And since you must have noticed, whenever we set up a display rule, in this case, it wasn't a column. So it hides the entire column, and it also hides the elements in it. So you don't have to add display rules in each level. So in the next example, we will add a display rule on a row. So in this case, we only want to display this row right here, which is a VAT, if the customer country contains EU. So let's go, contains EU, and save. So in this example, since this is a US customer, we shouldn't be able to see the VAT row, and it's completely hidden. And let's also take a look at a customer that is from Europe, and there you go, you see the VAT rule. But since this customer is billing in euros, we might not just want to display the text row. So let's also hide it. And we can add a rule. Let's add a condition for this rule right here. We can add it also combined rule. In this case, we also don't want to display the text row if it's a nonprofit. So we can set it two different ways. So we can say that we don't want to display this, only display this row if the checkbox is not checked. This is a checkbox element. And we can also tell Documint to not display if this checkbox is checked. So there are two options there. And we also don't want to display this element if the country contains EU, so means it's from Europe. So let's set this up right here. And you can see that we have two options. We're not always going to have a nonprofit and a company that it's from Europe. So we want one rule or another to be valid for this row right here to display. So we only want this row to display if it's a nonprofit or a country is a country from Europe. So let's save it and let's see how it looks. So in this first case right here, we have a billing that's in euros, and we can also check the nonprofit pool being applied right here. This is a nonprofit, so it also shouldn't display the text row. Okay, so let's move ahead and let's add another condition. So in this one here, oh, sorry, I said it. So let's go through this together. We can also have an automation running on your base, and it's going to tell Documint that this invoice is overdue. In this case, we have a checkbox, so we can add this checkbox as a reference, and we only want to display this overdue banner if this checkbox is checked. So if this invoice is indeed overdue. So let's take a quick look. So in this first item right here, it's on the due date. But if we go to this one, it's past the due date, so the banner will show up right here. And that's essentially it. We covered some rules. We covered some complex rules. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you don't have any questions right now, but if you want to share any question with us in the future regarding this video or anything else you need help with your template, feel free to contact us at support@documint.me. And thank you very much for joining us. See you next time.